Happy Friday, guys. Welcome back to the Food Code.
We need some cool sounds.
We need an intro. By the way, we did not mention this on our Wednesday podcast, but we have a new producer for the podcast. Art is in the studio currently. I call this a studio. It's Liz and Art's basement, but it is literally a studio. It is a studio. We have sound walls. We have a neon sign. We have couches. So if anyone wants to come hang out during our podcast, if we ever have guests in person,
that'll be fun.
They can sit on our couch.
We should be on YouTube now, so you should be able to see us live.
Ooh.
So
I was just recently informed of that now.
Oh. Yeah, so, big things coming for the podcast. The best way, though, that you guys can help us grow this podcast is to leave us that 5-star rating and review. But more importantly, what we would ask is share it with a friend. All you got to do is you go and you click copy link and you send it out to a friend or a family member that needs to hear any of the episodes that resonate, or maybe you think about them, and you send it to them and you say, hey, I found this great podcast. I thought that you would really enjoy it. You don't have to send it to them and be like, hey, Sally, thought that you might like this because you've shit in your pants all the time, right? Like, you can say it in a much nicer way than that. But that is, as Andy Frisella says, that is our request in terms of, the fee. If you like the show, you want it to continue, leave us a 5-star rating and review and share it out with your friends. And by the way, we're halfway through the month of September almost, and we are putting together our reviews that come in so that we can draw at the end of the month a fun, oh my God, I'm stumbling over my words so bad, a fun box, the mystery box that we are going to be adding some non-toxic things to, some pumpkin, some fall items. So it's going to be a really cool box.
Pumpkin everything. Okay, real though. Are you a cider flavor person or a pumpkin flavor person during fall?
Pumpkin.
Same. I actually ordered an iced coffee the other day and I got a pumpkin on top, and Nick took a sip of it. He's like, this doesn't even taste like pumpkin. And I'm like, it's pumpkin pie. Like, it's the nutmeg and the cinnamon. Like, no one wants pumpkin puree on top of their coffee. Yeah. My husband is a very literal person, and so it's hard for him when things are not exactly how they describe to be, or when they don't seem to make sense. Like, he gets very upset that funfetti cake exists because funfetti is not a flavor to him. Even though it's my favorite flavor.
Yeah. I can see that because it's basically vanilla with sprinkles, right? So they just want to, by the way, Marcus loves sprinkles. We got this blueberry ice cream cone at the Kings Island that we went to over the weekend, Labor Day weekend, and they're known for it. It's like blueberry flavored ice cream, but it actually wasn't too sweet. But anyways, it was really good. And so they said, would you like sprinkles? And he's like yelling, but he can't really say sprinkles. So it's like, sprinkles. It was so sad when, the layer of sprinkles was out. He didn't understand why is there not more in the middle. But I can agree with Nick on that. I would say in terms of a cake flavor, I am definitely more of like a German chocolate no, excuse me. Let me back up. Red Velvet's my number one.
Red Velvet's pretty good.
German chocolate would be number 2. And then anything that I can't, from my childhood, I can't have it now, but I did love it, is the Baskin Robbins ice cream cake with chocolate chip cookie dough ice cream.
Here's my other argument. Red Velvet's not a flavor. It's a description.
Yeah.
I don't know. Here's what, obviously you're getting a peer into my husband and I's relationship, which is lots of very irrational arguments around topics that are not pertinent to much. Like, my husband loves to argue about things.
I can see that.
Yeah, that's how he is. By the way, they can sit in that couch together. That's what we talked about, that very small couch. Our husbands, who are two very, not small people, that are both over 6 feet and
because we need to have him on the podcast soon. I was actually talking with Art and I was asking him to come on. I want to do an interview with him about strength training and programming and training for females, because he
love that.
Owned a gym for many, many years. But anyway, so lots of new things on the horizon, and we're excited because we have some really cool things that are going to be happening later this month and the beginning of October, just with new things that we're creating for our listeners and our followers and our clients. And so it's a lot of good stuff going on right now. And Becca and I were, walking earlier today, and we were just chatting about some of the questions that we get. And so today's going to be fiery. We may offend you, and I apologize if we do, but the truth needs to be told. And so we're going to talk today about inappropriate investments. And what do we mean by that? Well, I think that you need to start thinking about your resources, not just your finances, but also your time and your energy as investments. Where are you investing your time, your energy, your efforts, as well as your finances? Because unfortunately, we talk to many women who are really in a bad place health wise. Physically, they're not doing great. Their health isn't great. And, to work with us, it is an investment, but it is also an investment into your health and your long-term health. And so one of the things that came up in our conversation today was the amount of money that people spend on these products that they see on Amazon, or, I've had some clients ask me, hey, I saw this and it says it's supposed to help with, hair growth. And, what do you think about it? So I look it up. It's like $90. Look at the ingredients. It's nothing magical. And I'm like, stay the course, because what we're doing right now is actually helping you heal and, fix the root cause, rather than spend $90 on a supplement that, one, you have no idea if this is even going to work for you or if it's what you need. And two, what happens after you go through your first bottle? Do you have to buy more? Do you have to stay on it? I mean, we've had clients that have been, on different medications for hair growth. And if they stop it, they lose their hair. It's because the root cause issue was never really addressed. And so that's the premise of today is, if you really want to heal your body, you want to be healthy, you want to be happy in your skin, how you look, how your clothes fit, your energy levels throughout the day, your sex life or your libido, those types of things, you can't just think in a vacuum short term what's happening in the next 90 days to get this weight off as fast as possible. You have to think, what's the long-term repercussion of this, and what is this investment giving back to me long-term?
Yeah, I've started to look at supplements and everything in such a different light in the past few years, because it used to be, okay, should I take this to help with my bloating? Should I take to help with sleep? Like, what? I'm not sleeping well. I should probably take a sleep supplement. No, like, why am I not sleeping well? I have become so in tune with my body now that I know very clearly, like, when during my cycle my sleep can sometimes start to take a hit, what I need to do to account for that. I know if I'm, for example, if people are losing hair, if people are not sleeping through the night, like, there are underlying root causes that are driving those dysfunctions. I don't care anymore. Yeah, of course I want to start sleeping better again. Of course I don't want my hair falling out, but like, I want to know the why. And we challenge you to start being curious as to why your body is dysfunctional, because newsflash, if you're having symptoms, nay, major symptoms, that has been far downstream from when the dysfunction started. There are lots of people, and we've talked about this before, the people that we see on testing show up with the worst tests are people that aren't that symptomatic. And I'll be totally honest. I think it's because, one, yes, I think a lot of people that have really bad situations kind of blow past their symptoms because they're maybe type A personalities, they're chronically stressed, they're go. They don't really have time to pay attention to them. But two, they haven't gotten symptomatic yet. Things haven't gotten so depleted. Things haven't gotten to a point where they're having a lot of horrible feelings in terms of bloating, constipation, headaches, not sleeping through the night, any type acid reflux, whatever it might be. And so a lot of times we'll see those people not realize that they feel as horrible as their body's in a place of. And when we get that testing, we can get ahead of it before they become very symptomatic. But if you're very symptomatic, guys, it's been going on for a while and there's dysfunction that's been there for a long time. You're now just feeling it. And then you try to supplement it, which is not actually getting to the root cause of what is going on. But hey, I'm willing to drop $115 on this sleep powder because I'm not sleeping. Well, here's the thing. That sleep powder has, whatever may be in it, L-theanine, melatonin, whatever it is. Guess what, guys? If you have super low levels of melatonin, that's a gut thing. Most of your melatonin is created in the gut. Maybe it's a circadian rhythm thing. Maybe you're never seeing daylight because you're in an office all day long. You don't get out into daylight in the morning time. You don't spend enough time outside. Like, the amount of people that could probably be helped by just going outside and staring at a tree for 15 minutes a day is amazing. Like, get yourself into a parasympathetic state, calm down, bring stress down, go out for a walk, don't listen to anything, and just chill out. But no, I need to feel better immediately, and maybe this gut powder or whatever it is that you have no idea what it does, or if you're going to react poorly to it, because you guys, a lot of our clients that go on supplement protocols, like, might have reactions initially. We need to know, what is that reaction? What could be going on? What we may need to adjust. You should not be in that situation without any knowledge, which is, again, Another thing that really bothers me, honestly, is when people just want testing. Testing tells you nothing in terms of what you should do about it if you don't know how to interpret the testing. Oh, but you'll pay $300 for a Dutch or a GI map, but you don't want help with how to interpret it or how to apply it. Basically, waste of money, because you're going to have no idea. You guys, before Liz and I and our coaches learned all of this stuff, looking at these tests is literally like looking at scribbles on a paper. Like most of them are very hard to interpret. And so that is why you hire someone, you find someone to help you apply what you are investing in. Don't just make dumb investments. And do not grind my gears. Do not buy things and not take them. Or apply them.
Yeah. We see that a lot in terms of clients that are starting with us. Like, what supplements do you have in your cabinet? And it's just a counter full of supplements, and none of them have, been fully finished. They don't really know why they're on it. They just saw, an ad for it again, or somebody recommended, like my hairstylist recommended this for me. Which actually, by the way, while I'm on the topic of hair and hairstylists, when I was getting my hair done last week, I was, chatting with my stylist, Megan, and I was like, what do you see? I was asking her, I'm like, what do you see like in the fall or the spring in terms of shedding? Like, do you think that that's a really, a thing? I don't personally think it's a thing. She said, I don't personally think it's a thing. She said, but an interesting fact is that you lose 150 to 200 strands per day on average. And so for people who maybe don't wash their hair or brush their hair often, she's like, you wouldn't even believe. I do these, hair coloring and, do's and all this stuff. And then people don't keep up with it because they don't brush their hair. They don't take care of the hair. She's like, it's so crazy. I'm like, interesting. Sounds familiar. And so she's like, if you go and you brush your hair out, then after 3 or 4 days, you think you're losing hair, but it's just what you've already lost. That's essentially like if you had, let's say, either a knot in your hair or you had hair spray in your hair or something, it's just now getting brushed out, or you took a shower and washed your hair and then it's starting to come out. So fun fact there. But I do think, yes, it's really, really important when you are, on a supplement, you're spending money on a supplement, you should understand what it's for, how it's going to benefit you, and know that, you're wasting your money if you don't know that this is going to help with the root cause issue. And so it's also, if we look at all of these different like diets out there, for example, like Optavia. Okay. I'm sorry if you guys like Optavia. Becca and I are very against it, primarily because it is not a whole food sourced product. You're getting artificial ingredients in there, a lot of binders, a lot of artificial fibers, things that can really be detrimental to the gut. It's just not great. You're eating one whole food meal, meaning like an actual food per day, one meal per day that's made of whole foods. And you get a small list to choose from, and everything else is processed packaged. Not a, thing that we're going to give you the thumbs up for. And so if you're doing this, it's $400 a month, I believe, maybe a little bit more. I'm not really sure. But $400 a month was, the price last I checked to get this delivered to you. And so in one way, it's nice. You have the answers to the test in front of you. You follow it. Okay, you should lose weight. But on the other hand, what happens when your metabolism downregulates and you now adapt to this very low calorie place? And B, you end up with a lot of dysfunction because you're not nourished. You don't have vitamins, minerals, electrolytes, amino acids, fatty acids, all of these things that your body needs to actually function well. So you're going to spend all of that money on these supplements, and then you're going to get to a place where, one, it's not sustainable. You don't want to keep living this way because it's not realistic for your lifestyle. Like, you can't even go out to dinner with your spouse or go on vacation and enjoy without coming home feeling extremely bloated, gaining 10 pounds. Like, that doesn't sound like fun. So instead of spending $400 on that, why don't you actually fix what's going on, figure out what's going on, root cause, and address it so that you can just move on with your life. When you go through a process like that, you're free from food. We always talk about, diet freedom. I want our clients, they go through healing protocols, right? Sometimes, and yes, it's a little bit restricted when we're eradicating things or they're spending money on supplements and they can't have, certain foods because, again, we don't want to feed the bacteria that we're trying to kill off. But on the other side of that, things function well. You feel great. Weight is a symptom, right? So weight has now dropped because you've fixed the issue. You move on with your life. You work on maintaining good health. And you never have to really worry about all of this calorie restriction and macro counting and all of these nuances, I would say, with nutrition, because you've gotten your body to a place that it can just function how it should. So stop making inappropriate investments.
Yeah. And maybe evaluate your investments. Evaluate what you're spending money on every month. Evaluate, which can be hard pill to swallow, guys. I've been there. Evaluate like, oh, the $10 I spent here and the $15 I spent there and the $100 I spent there that like we either don't use or it was a waste of money or whatever it might be, and start really thinking about the money that you're spending and the investments that you're making on your quote unquote health. If we're trying to do these things, like, we get it. Humans are emotional creatures. We act on emotion. We act irrationally often. We do it in the moment because in the moment we're, flood, like marketing preys on this, guys. Like, if you ever go to, a webinar, or you watch some video or whatever it is where they're trying to sell you something, they always give you that discount, right, for buying on the webinar or whatever it is. And yes, some of these can be legitimate. They can be great helps, like so forth. But a lot of these times are preying on your emotions. They're preying on you to feel vulnerable in that moment to purchase this thing. Like, that is why when we have calls with potential clients, we do one-on-one Zoom consults with all of potential clients that we are going to work with, because we want to know how we can help. We want to make sure that we can help and we don't have to refer out. They understand how we're going to help. They understand what the process and the relationship with the client and, the practitioner is going to be, because we do not want to hide behind this false curtain of, yeah, you're going to get all the things and lose 50 pounds in the next 5 months. And it's no supplements and it's whatever. Like, you're going to get a lot of great false promises that are never followed through on. Like, I know if I had a dime for every story I've heard of like, well, I bought this program, it wasn't really what I thought it was going to be. And, X, Y, and Z and so forth. Like, good God.
Or they thought that they just needed another macro coach.
Yes.
Like, how much, just tell me how much I should be eating. And so often, like, I'm just gonna be honest, like, I just want to shake people and say, it's not how much you should be eating. It's about the dysfunction that's happening in your body and why you're not getting nourished from the foods that you are eating. If you're eating 1,600 calories, that is not going to make a huge difference. If you're eating 2,000 calories, you're either maintaining or losing in that place for most people, if things are working well. We get a lot of clients though that come in and they're like, I have done it all. I've done every macro plan out there. I've carb cycled, I've intermittent fast, I've done all of these different things and I'm not seeing change. And oh, by the way, when we uncover, their symptoms, it's like a laundry list, not, what they originally thought. But when we start digging and probing and asking questions like, okay, we're tired after meals. Oh, we're bloated after meals. Oh, you only go to the bathroom 2 times a week. Okay, these are things that we need to address because, again, whether or not you're eating 1,600 calories or 2,000 calories, that's not a make or break of 30 pounds. It's the dysfunction in the body that is driving the weight gain or resistance to weight loss. And that's what we want to address. And so, again, we don't want to sound harsh, but at the end of the day, we have to stop being fooled. You have to stop falling prey to these things. We know that most people are in a place, they don't feel happy with themselves. They are not confident. I know exactly what it's like to be there. And that's exactly why I spent the amount of money that I spent to work with a holistic doctor, get all of the testing that I did in 2014. And it changed my life. I've lost the 50 pounds. I've kept it off. Just ran a GI map. We got some things to work on still. Everybody has things to work on. And I'm excited about it because I don't have the symptoms that I had then. But as I was telling Becca today on our walk, like, I listened to some of these doctors who talk about being a 10 out of 10 or a 9 out of 10 every day. And that's what excites me. I'm probably like a 7 or 8 right now. I probably also compensate some things, right? If I'm really step back and take a 3,000 foot view, I am a type A personality. I'm busy. We're an entrepreneur, right? We've got kids to take care of. We got a lot of things going on. If I have the time to slow down, then maybe, okay, I notice some little things here nor there. But guys, I know what it was like to feel diseased. I know what it was like to not want to get out of bed, to feel exhausted all the time, not happy in my skin. And every single penny that I spent, I would spend again and again and again to feel the way that I feel today. And so that's, what we wanted to drive home. And as we wrap up here, I just want to remind you that everything that you do in your life is a choice. Every investment that you make, it's not just about the pennies that you have or the dollars that you're spending. It's also about your energy and your efforts. Who are you letting, dictate your emotions? It's also about where you spend your time. And I can't say it enough. Like, you have to be the person that chooses to take ownership of your health and control your time and manage these things appropriately and invest appropriately because nobody else can do that for you.